Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to get your attention, please. On behalf of our senior pastor, Dr. Miriam, it's time that we welcome you at the United Methodist Church. Join in the honor of welcoming back to Townhall. Events like this provide an opportunity for thoughtful dialogue, informed decision-making, and a stronger community connections. We are grateful to all our community partners for sponsoring this event. I want a representative of each one of those sponsors, if you would stand up so we can see who all of you are. Let's give them a round of applause for. So as we listen and engage this evening, may our conversations be marked by respect, understanding, and share commitment to building a better Atlanta, Georgia for everybody, one district, one neighborhood, and one act of service at a time. Welcome again. We want to welcome you again, and I'm going to turn it into the hand of Mr. Bruce at this time.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not giving the prayer. Thank you, Pastor, for all that. Good evening. Say it, guys. Y'all already know. You're in the church, okay? Good evening. Good. I'm Christopher Bruce. I am the Policy and Advocacy Director for the ACLU of Georgia. It is a pleasure to be here today. Tonight is about something deeply rooted in the soul of this city. Civil rights and the ongoing fight to ensure that every voice matters, every vote counts, and every person is treated with dignity and respect. As we know, Atlanta has long since been a beacon for justice. From the marches that we've seen in the civil rights movement to the marches that we've seen literally this past Saturday. The movements were born in our churches, our classrooms, and neighborhoods. But we also know that the work of justice is never finished. It evolves with each generation, and it calls on us to not just make these moments of protest, but moments in dialogue, like the one that we're about to have. At the ACLU of Georgia, we believe that democracy is not just a spectator sport. It requires participation, accountability, and courage. In spaces like this, where community members, faith leaders, advocates, and residents come together, that's where democracy truly lives. So we're proud to stand alongside our partners, the League of Women Voters, this is the Atlanta Fulton chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Pi Alpha Omega Chapter, Communities United, the Concerned Black Clergy of Metropolitan Atlanta, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Atlanta Suburban Alumni Chapter, and the Atlanta Alumni Chapter, and Cascade United Methodist. Each of these organizations care deeply about this community, and they care about you. So as we discuss the future of Atlanta, let us remember civil rights are not just a chapter in our history. They are the ongoing story that we write together. With that, I am going to bring up our first partner organization, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Thank you for coming out today. My name is Tirsa Gravely. I am representing Pi Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated today. We are happy and proud to be a co-host in today's event, and thank you for coming out to learn more about the candidates for District 11 City Council so that you can make an informed decision when you go to vote. I appreciate all that are here with us today in person as well as virtually. Our chapter serves the Metro Atlanta area, and we meet in the Atlanta Metropolitan State College. And so we are today helping to serve District 11 by hosting this event. Thank you.
Front and center. Hi, my name is, good evening, everyone. I'm Sheris Johnson, and I'm president of the League of Women Voters of Atlanta Fulton County. And I'm so happy that we were able to have this event happen tonight. We proudly have been empowering voters and protecting democracy for over 105 years. This organization is not limited to membership of women, but is also open to all persons, and we're nonpartisan. We have to remind everyone of that. We're, again, very proud to be here tonight. This is what we do. We make sure that people are informed and know what to do and who to figure out who they want to vote for in these important elections. As a reminder, this is the local election year, and it's equally important as the presidential elections that we oftentimes have people do all the voting for. Our voter turnout was not great even last year. It's very low this year because it's local. We want to make sure people are reminded of that. Please make sure, you all here probably are those persons who are the super voters or people who already vote. But please make sure that you inform your friends and family that they do need to come out and vote this election. We're actually in the midst of early voting right now, but make sure that we have also a state election that I'm going to remind people of. This is off script. That is the Public Service Commission. That is important. You must make sure that you vote for that too. Do not undervote, please. Vote for every person that is on that ballot. Again, do not undervote. If you know what that means, I just recognize the top two people. I'm not going to vote for those initiatives and referendum. Make sure you learn about that. If you have any issues and questions about that, please check do Google. We will make sure that if there are questions that you need to know about, we will make sure you're informed about that. Again, thank you all for coming out. And I'll pass this on now to the Communities in Justice organization. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Richard Rose, CEO of Communities United for Justice. Sheriff stole a little thunder of mine. I was going to remind you to vote for the Public Service Commission. I was one of 4 plaintiffs that tried to change the way we elect the Public Service Commissioners. Each of them, they have a 6-year term. There's 6 districts, but everybody in the state gets to pick everybody else's district. Last I checked, City of Atlanta, Fulton County was, black vote was higher. We were like 38% turnout so far. We only make up about 34% of the voters. And we need to continue that because, as I mentioned sometime, democracy is a full-time job. We cannot assume that we have time to take off and vacation. Democracy requires a spirit of collectivism, which means you care about your neighbors, your neighbor cares about you. What you do affects your neighbor, and what your neighbor does affect you. Let's get out, make this is part of the accountability. There are 3 things in our society you can do without previous requirement or previous qualification. You can decide you want to preach, you can decide you want to be a politician, or you can decide you want to be a tax preparer. We're talking about politicians tonight. So anybody can decide they want to run. It's up to you to make the choice to make sure that you pick the right people to represent you. Thank you so much. And is there a representative of Concerned Black Clergy here? If not, Delta Sigma Theta.
Good evening. On behalf of Dr. Tama Trammell and the Atlanta Suburban Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, it is my honor to bring greetings to each of you tonight. As an organization rooted in scholarship, service, sisterhood, and social action, we are proud to partner on this important candidate forum and to stand with District 11 as you engage in the democratic process. It is especially meaningful to gather here in the sanctuary of Cascade United Methodist Church, a place where faith and community intersect, and where voices are lifted not only in holy worship, but in purpose. While this is a District 11 forum, we know that leadership doesn't stop at boundary lines. The decisions by the City Council ripple across communities, and tonight's dialogue is a powerful reminder that informed voters build stronger cities. Thank you to the candidates for your courage and commitment, and to each of you for attending tonight. Have a good evening, and I'd like to hand it over to the Atlanta Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Good evening, good evening. Again, extended greetings on behalf of the Atlanta Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta and our partnering with Atlanta Suburban as well, and our other partners. For me, what I really want to just say tonight is that we had an event where Joteka Edie spoke, and the one thing that she said is that this is our civil rights moment. If you think about all that we're enduring. So it's important that we hear what the candidates have to say and what they want to do, but it's even more important that each one of us reaches back to get people to come out to vote. And we've also got to start communicating in very plain language what voting means. Not just that people fought for the right to vote, not that it's just our right, but we need to remind people, your electricity bill could be higher because you don't exercise your right to vote. We have to meet people where they are with the pain that they're experiencing so they understand why it is so important that they cast their vote and that they understand who they're voting for. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Hunt Blackwell. I am the First Amendment Policy Counsel with the ACLU of Georgia. I'd just like to extend our thanks again for you all being here. Thank you to our partners, and thank you to the candidates for District 11 who are here this evening. I have the pleasure of introducing our moderator for the evening, who will be leading us in the discussion with the candidates, asking questions to these candidates about issues that are facing the city of Atlanta and issues facing District 11 specifically. There's also opportunity for us to hear from you. You should have received index cards on your way in, and you can write questions for the candidates on those index cards, and we'll have time at the end of the event for your questions to be answered. Chauncey Alcorn is an Atlanta metro area-based reporter who covers Georgia state and Atlanta local politics for Capital B. He previously covered breaking and trending news for CNN Business, The Daily Mail, Mike, Fortune, and the New York Daily News, among other major publications. Everyone, please help me give a round of applause to our moderator, Mr. Chauncey Alcorn.
How's everybody doing tonight? All right. I was a little nervous because I was raised in the church, and my mom always told me you don't go in the pulpit. So that was a little uncomfortable at first, but I'm gonna make do with what I got. I'm Chauncey, as Sarah just so eloquently pointed out. I write for Capital B, Atlanta. If you guys aren't familiar, we are a Black-led digital news nonprofit. We center Black voices in our coverage. Our co-founders brainstormed Capital B in the wake of the uprisings during 2020 after the police murder of George Floyd. We are not like a traditional newsroom. We're funded almost entirely off of donations, and we rely on your support. So we are a Black-led newsroom full of Black journalists who live among you and report the news in your communities. Most media outlets, and I've worked for some of the top media outlets in the country, most of them do a lot of access journalism where they're talking to people who are in powerful positions and telling the masses what those people care about. We do the opposite. We focused on community journalism, folks like you and telling everybody what's going on in your community. So if you believe in that mission and you want to support it, there's never been a rougher time. I'm gonna tell you the truth. My life to be a journalist, it's cold out here, y'all. So we really appreciate and rely on your support. Please visit us at atlanta.capitalbnews.org. That's Atlanta.capital. The B is for black, by the way, capital B. And subscribe to our newsletter if you want to support us and what we're doing out here in the community. So I'll just leave you with that as I introduce our candidates. So you guys can, if you're a candidate, you can go start making your way to the stage. We're going to go in alphabetical order. I'm going to set this down over here. Hold on. So we're going to do this in alphabetical order by last name. Andrea Bergen is an Atlanta native and a graduate of Florida A&M and Clark Atlanta Universities. He is a user, experienced researcher, and community leader. His campaign platform includes driving economic opportunity, quality of life improvements, and youth and family investments. So everybody give it up for Mr. Bergen. Kurt Collier is an educator and real estate broker with 16 years of experience in community. His campaign platform includes improvements for Atlanta infrastructure, community development, and neighborhood and natural preservation. You can learn more about Kurt Collier at kurtcollieratl.com. So everybody give it up for Mr. Collier. Let me not forget, Mr. Bergen's campaign website is andrewbergen.com. That's ANDREBURGIN.com. So check him out as well. Stephen Dingle is an Atlanta native and 13-year music executive veteran and teacher. His campaign platform includes stronger schools, affordable housing, and more opportunity through local business growth, economic development, and infrastructure. You can learn more about Stephen Dingle at dingleforatlanta.com. Everybody give up Mr. Dingle. Mr. Harold Hartnett, are you here? He is not. So we are told he will be arriving late. I just wanted to double check. But I'm going to give him an intro. He's at another event. He's doing his best to get here, guys, so be mindful of that. Harold Hartnett is a native of Southwest Atlanta. He is a graduate of Morris Brown University and the founder of both Hartnett Enterprises and the Harold M. Hartnett Foundation. Through his foundation, Harold has mentored youth, advocated for safer communities, and championed local businesses. His work spans public safety initiatives, economic development, and educational empowerment, all aimed at improving the quality of life in Southwest Atlanta. You can learn more about Harold Hartnett at haroldhartnett.com. So give it up for him, even though he's not here. All right. Ms. Toni Belen Ingram is a community servant and faith leader in Atlanta. She is a graduate of Morris Brown College and received a Master of Divinity from Emory University, a Doctor of Ministry from Payne Theological Seminary, and a Master of Marriage and Family Therapy from Mercer School of Medicine. Is that it? Yes. Everybody give it up for Ms. Ingram. Oh, I didn't finish, actually. Toni is also an ordained itinerant elder in the African Methodist Episcopal AME Church and presiding elder of the Augusta North District. She also served as director of Black Church Studies at Emory University's Candler School of Theology. You can learn more about her at Belen Ingram for district11.com. Everybody give it up. Nate Jester is a native of Southwest Atlanta and a graduate of Atlanta Public Schools as well as the U.S. Naval Academy. He's also a former infantry officer in the U.S. Marine Corps. After completing his military service, Nate earned his law degree from Harvard, where he completed over 1,000 hours of pro bono work, advocating for low-income clients facing eviction and fighting for fair pay in wage and overtime cases. He is currently a practicing attorney in Atlanta and real estate firm owner where he partners with churches and nonprofits to build affordable homes. You can learn more about him at votenatejester.com. Everybody give it up for him. Last but not least is Mr. Wayne Martin. Wayne Martin is a lifelong Atlantan and graduate of Morehouse College. He began his public service career at the Community and Civic Outreach Coordinator for Atlanta City Council, Post 1 at large. He later served in leadership roles with the Atlanta Housing Authority, where he managed intergovernmental relations and directed community affairs, as well as with Atlanta Public Schools as Executive Director of the Board of Education. You can learn more about Mr. Martin at waynemartinatl.com. Everybody give it up for Mr. Martin. Some of y'all may remember me. I was at the candidate forum at Greenbrier where you guys were speaking to some of the seniors. So, yes, the season. Right, that was they definitely wanted us to call them season. Okay, so let's get started. First and foremost, we want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves as I pull up my platform here. Okay, so we're going to do panelist platforms. So we're going to start. Why don't we go ahead and start from the beginning like we did before. Mr. Bergen, you want to start us off, and we're going to give you, everybody gets three minutes or so to kind of introduce themselves and their platform. So first we're going to kick off Mr. Bergen.
Hello? Good evening. My name is Andre Bergen. I'm running for Atlanta City Council, District 11, the same neighborhood I was born and raised in, the neighborhood that's given me so much. It's given me resilience. It's given me support to be the first person in my family to attend college, attended Florida A&M University, and I went forward and got my MBA from Clark Atlanta University. Those two moments gave me the start of a 15-year career in tech, where I've worked for Procter & Gamble, US Bank, and Facebook, among other places. Once I started my career, my goal was to move back into my community and go to work. And for the last 7 years, I've been co-chair of the Adams Park Residents Association, working on issues that affect our community. Between the community experience of working with people who have been in the community for decades, advocating for our rights, and my corporate career, I've run to bring those skills to the forefront. As a researcher, I've learned to look at data, talk to people, get context, and then develop solutions that affect us all, driving impact. As a community leader, I've learned to work with city council people, public service organizations, and things of that nature, advocating for the things that we need. As a project manager, I also learned that when it comes to projects, oversight is important, making sure that we have accountability from end to end, milestone to milestone, so that projects start and end on time. Those are qualities that I believe are super important for any council person representing us. Also, with my background in technology, I understand that technology is transforming America, and it's definitely transforming Atlanta. And we need to leverage technology for our benefit so that we can move more effectively, more efficiently, more transparently towards the future that we're all moving towards, inclusive of everybody, especially residents of District 11. Outside of just leveraging technology, it's just me understanding that our community needs services. So making sure that we fight for our fair share in City Hall, make sure that we fight for those quality of life services in terms of housing, economic development, green space, and a whole host of other things that are affecting our community. As we get into this forum, we'll talk more about it, but again, my name is Andre Bergen. I'm happy to be here and to represent for this community. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Mr. Kurt Collier.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first, I'd like to thank you all. I'd like to thank the women who helped organize this event tonight. The ladies, the women of the voters, the League of Voters, Alpha, Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. It's no small thing to be among the 92% of women, the 92%, the highest voting bloc in our last election. It was black women who stood solid and stood firm. Stood solid, stood firm to let our voices be heard. And although we didn't quite get what we wanted, it was noted. My name is Kurt Collier. I'm a happy husband of 20 years come this December, a proud father of our 6 children, and I have served for 16 years as a public school educator, helping to shape the minds of our youth to become civically and career ready. I have served as a real estate broker with helping families to make the biggest purchase of their lives. I serve our neighborhoods, our communities, helping to get speed tables put on our roads, keeping our children safe, and with our elders, helping with property tax disputes. This opportunity to serve our community as a city councilman is not a small thing. I believe that Atlanta is at a crossroads. We're at a time where pressure is bearing down on Southwest Atlanta especially. Developers from all over the world in this nation see this as a cash cow. And if we don't protect what we have here, preserve our legacies, this place which we kindly refer to as a Black Mecca will be lost. You have a very important decision to make. I pray you make the right one.
Our next candidate is Mr. Stephen Dingle.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Dingle. I'm a candidate for Atlanta City Council, District 11. I appreciate the ACLU and all the organizations who helped put this together in Cascade United Methodist Church. Southwest Atlanta means the absolute world to me. My family has given so much to this city. My father worked for Bronner Brothers basically my whole life, right there off MLK. My big sister's here. She attended Clark Atlanta University, as well as I did. My mother and my wife have been in education all our lives. My uncle Larry Dingle has been the municipal clerk for decades, as well as an attorney to help bring Tyler Perry's both properties right here to Southwest Atlanta, the Greenbrier and the one in Fort McPherson. I got a cousin who's working at APD. My sister works for the Atlanta City Dispatch, and I've been in the music business right here in Atlanta for the past 13 years, and then most recently started substitute teaching. So the Dingle name has been of service to this city in business, legal, public service, and entertainment and education. When you see that Dingle name, know it's a name that you can believe in and you can trust. So I am running to bring resilience back to Southwest Atlanta, specifically District 11. When I came to Southwest Atlanta, I was born in East Point. My parents moved down to Henry County and they divorced. My dad moved back right by Greenbrier Village on the Green. I moved with him in 2008 to attend Clark Atlanta University. I used to work at that Kroger on Headland right in front of Greenbrier. From there, my sophomore year, I got my first apartment in Village on the Green. I rode that 83 bus. The MARTA bus was the busiest line in the entire city when I got a job to work at the Ardmore Hotel in Midtown while attending Clark Atlanta University. Southwest Atlanta is everything to me. My dad used to take me around every store and see what black business was. Working for Bronner Brothers, working the Bronner Brothers hair show every year, twice a year, February and August, seeing what black success was right here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I know what it means to represent Southwest Atlanta and show what all is possible. So I look forward to having your support and earning your vote. If you've already early voted, if you voted for me, I appreciate it. But I hope after hearing what I have to say, hopefully I can earn your vote and go vote tomorrow. But if you want to wait till Election Day, I appreciate it as well. Once again, my name is Stephen Dingle. Everything can be found at dingle4atlanta.com. Everything's spelled correctly, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the forum tonight. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Ms. Tony Belen Ingram.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's 7:25. It is my pleasure to be with you. My name is Tony Belin Ingram. I am B as in boy, ELIN-Ingram. So I'm actually the first person on the ballot when you go to vote, if you have not already. And so I am delighted to be with you all, and I thank you for this opportunity. I came here 40 years ago to go to school. I met and married my husband, who was a student at Clark. We stayed here. We raised our children in Southwest Atlanta. 35 years ago, we went to school. They went to West Manor and then to Centennial Place Elementary School. And we loved it. everything about being here. And so every time we moved somewhere else, right around within a 5-mile radius of where we were, because we cared about where we were, and we knew that this is a wonderful place for our children to grow and develop and mature. At the very same time, it happened because our children live within a mile of us. A few years ago, one of our daughters was getting ready to buy a home, and it took her forever to get a home because she had to keep on bidding on homes and kept getting outbid by investors. And every time it happened that the homes would not be in the price point which she could afford afterwards. So she finally did buy a house. And so then the election happened and hell broke loose, and we tried to figure out what to do. And so my same daughter and I decided to start having dinner weekly with friends. And so to talk about what we would do, because everything matters locally. And so when we did, at one point, Trey, a friend of ours, said, Tony Marcy is running for president of city council. You ought to run for that seat. And at that moment, I heard the Lord say, yeah, everything you've been doing is for this point until now. And so then I heard and I understood that our responsibility is to empower people to grow business and protect our community. Empower people because we need to know our rights. We have been here far too long with far too little. And it is an opportunity for us now to understand what our rights are, what our opportunities are, and to have access. And then to empower people, but also to grow business. Hamilton Road TAD and other opportunities are around and have been around, but people have not had the access necessary to get those things done. And so empower people, grow business, and then also to protect our community. It's the most green space in the world. Everybody wants it. It matters who gets this seat. It matters because we don't need to be sold out so that we can't age in place. And so I'm Tony Beelan Ingram. I ask for your vote, I ask for your support, I ask for your prayers.
Next candidate is Mr. Nate Jester.
Good evening. My name's Nate Jester, and I'm standing here today because of my parents. My dad moved from rural Georgia to Atlanta to go to Morris Brown College. He became a Marine, he served in Vietnam, came back and became the first black lawyer from Lamar County, Georgia. My mom moved here from South Florida to go to Clark Atlanta University. She became a teacher, a social worker, and she ran a daycare in our community. And before I forget, my mom was an AKA, is an AKA. She actually founded her chapter at Florida State University, a school that she helped integrate in the late 60s. My parents taught me the value of faith, service, and community. They raised me in Ben Hill, where they have lived for over 50 years. This is the village that raised me, that made me who I am. I grew up riding MARTA, walking these streets, playing sports at Sandtown, Ben Hill, Cascade. This is my village. And y'all prepared me, sent me off to go and serve in the military, to go and get my law degree from Harvard University, where I met my beautiful wife. And we moved back down here to Southwest Atlanta. We currently live off of Fairburn Road. And this is my last distraction, y'all. I will get back on topic, but we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, and I really appreciate her being out here when we could be out eating dinner or something like that. Anyways, Southwest Atlanta. This is the village that raised me. I was excited to come back, and I came back on purpose. I want my children to experience the same things that make our community so special. But when I came back, I noticed that too much was the same, and too much needed to change. And as a Marine Corps veteran, as a real estate lawyer, as a small business owner, as a native of this community, I'm running the fight for the respect, the resources, and the results that we deserve on the south side, on the southwest side of Atlanta. The other day, I was out canvassing with a couple volunteers, and we were walking down County Line Road, where I grew up, down on Campbellton County Line, and I noticed that the sidewalk ended at the same place that it did when I was a kid 30 years ago. I don't want 30 more years of business as usual. If you want more from the next 30 years in this city, If you want a leader who will listen and take action, then I'm asking that you please put your faith in Nate this election day. I'm Nate Jester, and you can find out more at votenatejester.com.
Last but certainly not least, Mr. Wayne Martin.
Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. My name is Wayne Martin, and I am running to be our next District 11 City Council member. I'm running because I am proof of what's possible when the City of Atlanta brings to bear its best public policies, its programs, and private partnerships to the benefit of underserved families in this community. You see, before I graduated from Morehouse and Thurl High School right here in this community, my family was homeless from the time I was 11 years old until right before I turned 14. We were living in a homeless shelter downtown, and my mother somehow got a housing voucher when the families were being moved out of Techwood homes and being given vouchers. Somehow she slipped in line, got us in that voucher program. We ended up getting our first home right off of Narren Drive in Ben Hill. I am running because I know what's possible in this city when the best of minds come together to serve underserved families, and I know that we can do it again. There are families that still live in those same conditions. The face of homelessness in this city is a child under the age of 16 that's enrolled in Atlanta Public Schools. We think it's the people living under bridges and sleeping on benches, and we have great compassion for them. But there are children every single night that sleep in cars. They sleep in extended stay hotels, and they're sleeping on the sofas of family members, and we're a city that's better than that. So I'm running specifically for District 11 to preserve historic Cascade, this beautiful street that we're on right now, with some of the best parks and green spaces controlled by and lived in by African Americans in the country. I'm running to preserve that, to keep that intact, and also to make sure that we can keep our legacy residents in their homes, making sure that property taxes don't run them out of their homes, making sure that they can stay and age in place in those communities. I'm running for the revitalization of Campbellton Road. Campbellton Road does not even have a grocery store on it right now, and that is unacceptable in the city of Atlanta, and we're going to change that. I'm finally running for the stabilization of Camp Creek Marketplace. The pastor of this church, he and I were at an event back in the spring, and we were talking to each other, and I was sharing with him that I'm going to be running for the seat. And he said, man, I'm so glad to hear that. There are several folks that I've heard, members of my church that are running for the seat, but I know you, and I know that you are a person that's in tune to the issues. He said, I want to share something with you. There was a usher at this church who was in her late 60s that was attempted robbed, in that parking lot of the Publix at Camp Creek Marketplace. That is unacceptable for our seniors and our residents in our communities to deal with those kinds of things. I have the experience in the background having worked for the city for 2 council members, serving as chief of staff. I've worked for the Atlanta Public Schools. I've also worked for the Atlanta Housing Authority. So I understand the inner workings of our city and how to bring those organizations together for the betterment of our communities. I've also worked in the private sector. I've worked at 2 of the world's largest companies and have brought back community benefits and goods from those companies that have benefited our community and our neighborhoods. I'm asking you for your support and your vote as I run to be our next District 11 council member. Again, that's Wayne Martin. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Okay, before we get started, I want to tee this up a little bit for y'all. Most of you guys are here, then you probably know how this works, but these folks are running for District 11 Atlanta City Council seat. That seat is currently occupied by Council Member Marcy Collier Overstreet, who is not pursuing re-election. She is running for City Council President. There are a total of 16 seats on Atlanta City Council, including City Council President, 3 at-large seats, and 12 district seats. The City Council President is a tiebreaker vote if there are needed. But this is a very important job. One of these individuals is going to be a steward of your municipal tax dollars. They're going to make decisions that affect, where, if there's roads that need to be repaved, sidewalks, things of that nature, zoning as it relates to housing, public safety, and all that different kind of stuff at the city while you guys are going to work and don't necessarily want to be focused on it every minute of your life. So this is very important, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time to, I commend you actually for taking the time to be here. But we're going to go ahead and get started with some questions. I'm going to start, to be fair, I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to start with Mr. Martin. So, and these questions I didn't write them. These are our hosts provided these, so don't shoot the messenger. Technology affords us many benefits, and the city of Atlanta uses technology so much so that our city is the #1 most surveilled city in the United States. The technology, however, is used with very little guidelines or parameters related to people's privacy and digital security. If elected to City Council, Mr. Martin, would you support measures that implement safeguards around the use of surveillance technology by city officials?
That's a great question. I think, let me start by saying that we do not have to surrender our civil liberties to make our city safer. I learned at Morehouse College under Dr. Tobe Johnson, state and local government there, that we never should politicize public safety. What I will tell you is I'm also, I've borne witness to major crimes being solved because of our VIC system, our Video Integration Center system that ties in all of our cameras. But again, I'll state, we don't have to surrender our civil liberties for the sake of public safety. We do need to stand up guidelines. We need to have guardrails in place that guide and lead how those cameras can be used, how they can be brought into, I guess, the judicial system as evidence. And I'm staunchly in support of standing up those guidelines. And I actually would plan to make that a part of, early work that I do if I'm elected to the seat, working with the city's public safety committee on the council to begin to explore. It's my understanding that there is some legislation that's in process already. It's not been adopted, but I would like to see that legislation move forward and a robust debate taking place between the council members to get some guardrails in place.
Mr. Jester, same question to you. If elected to City Council, would you support measures that implement safeguards around the use of surveillance technology by city officials?
Yes, I would. Protecting individual rights, individual liberties is crucial for us. And the reality is that we are dealing with a federal government, a state government that has shown that it is interested in trampling on those rights. What we need is local leaders who are willing to stand up and always put the people first, put what's right first. And I will be a vocal voice for this community for what's right. With my legal background, I'll go back a little bit. I started off working in legal aid. I started off doing eviction defense and helping sue employers who were not paying people their fair wages. The difference between winning and losing in a lot of those cases was just having someone who was willing to show up in court, show up in the community, and advocate for somebody who was disadvantaged. In a lot of ways, this community, this city, is disadvantaged, and we need to make sure that we have leaders who are ready to advocate for us, to stand up for what's right, and to put the guardrails in place that will make sure that the technologies that we have, the technologies that are continuing to be developed, are not used as weapons aimed specifically at communities that look like ours. I am ready, I am willing to step into this seat on day one and be the type of voice, the type of protector, the type of zealous advocate that this community needs and will definitely need for the rest of this administration.
All right. Going to try to keep it to 1 minute for our answers, but who is next? Ms. Belin Ingram. Excuse me for mispronouncing your name before. So just to reiterate, if elected to City Council, would you, Ms. Ingram, support measures that implement safeguards around the use of surveillance technology by city officials?
I definitely would recommend that and support that. I think it is vitally important for us to be safe and technologically savvy, and at the very same time that we're not giving over all of our live work to technology. And so I mean that, right? Like, so I'm very excited because I have data on my phone, and so I can do all the things I need to do on my phone, and I can go to the airport and do biometrics, right? And so I'm excited about that, but at the very same time, I do not want that to be what makes us see everybody and everything, right? And so we need safety, we need safeguards, we need to be able to ensure that we are protecting our citizens. Technology should make us smarter. It should not take away our rights and our responsibilities to one another. And so I would put in place and to work together to ensure that we are safeguarding our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Dingle, Stephen Dingle. If elected, to reiterate the question, If you're elected to city council, Mr. Dingle, would you support measures that implement safeguards around the use of surveillance technology by city officials?
Yes, absolutely. How I plan to lead is giving all the constituents of District 11 and Atlanta as a whole is you give them options. You let them know that it's my belief that the more liberty you have, the more dependent you are on self-accountability. So if we want to protect our liberties, that means we have to lean on each other for respect, how we take care of our communities, and how we choose to protect our communities. If the community says, hey, it's not safe, and I prefer to have surveillance, you have to understand the liberties that you are giving up. That's potential privacy. That's if you're walking down the street and there's a criminal walking beside you, you may now be a suspect because of those cameras. So we have to understand what's at stake and what decision we want to make as a community. But overall, to answer the question, I am totally for oversight by an elected official. And if I'm your next elected official, it will be community involvement as well. Thank you.
Gotcha. Mr. Kirk Collier, excuse me, same question.
So we're talking about the surveillance of Atlanta. Atlanta happens to be one of the most surveilled cities in the world. You may have not noticed, but if you look up at the street lights, the poles, there's little cameras everywhere. So who is currently now surveying your movements? Has there been any checking on that? And how is it being used? Now, crimes are being looked into, but we know that we live in a society where everything is being actively monitored. Now, we can get into a big brother kind of state. It is our jobs to first create the criteria by which these cameras can even be used and who monitors them. We need to put safeguards in place to monitor how they're being used, when they're being used, and what is the density of the cameras in which neighborhoods. Oftentimes, it is black communities that are surveyed the highest. Now, just real quick, I don't want to go over my time too much. Black communities are often over-policed, and that's a huge burden on our young people and who is extracted. So, my time's up.
Thank you very much. And thank you for respecting the time. Mr. Andrew Bergen, same question. If elected to city council, would you support measures that implement safeguards around the use of surveillance technologies by city officials?
Yes. Oftentimes, the need to leverage technology is needed. Oftentimes, the intent is good, but implementation is everything. It's the reason why we're the most surveilled right now, because with good intent, with good purpose, poor implementation, we are over-surveilled. My background is in technology. I'm a researcher. I particularly focus on AI. One of the things I want to bring to this role is being a tech councilman, understanding how quickly this space is evolving, what needs to be in place so that we set the right guardrails, not just for now, but for the future, because oftentimes things evolve quickly and we lose track of what actually needs to happen long-term to make sure that we're not in the same place 10 years from now. That's my plan, and that's how I'll approach things.
All right, thank you guys very much. So we're gonna flip it around on this next question. I'm sorry. Oh, no, you're fine. So this was a little bit of a civics quiz, so we'll see how much you guys know about your community. We're gonna start with Mr. Andre Bergen. Yes, it is you, I'm sorry. All right, Mr. Bergen, in which of District 11's NPUs do you reside? And this is a two-part question. And the second question is, when did you last attend your neighborhood's NPU meeting?
So I am a resident of Adams Park, so NPUR is my home place. I haven't attended this year. But I was a frequent person, being a neighborhood representative, kind of weighing in on different permits and things of that nature. So I've been involved in NPU. Obviously, with campaign season, things have kind of pulled me away from that. But I've been involved in NPU, and not only involved, just aware of the board members who are leading those meetings. I know kind of what happens at those meetings, so just very familiar with the MPU in general. I don't know how to talk more about it because as co-chair of the Allen Park Residents Association, I am charged with just being in tune with what's going on and what's coming to the MPU. So that's my spiel.
I want to tee this up a little bit, just in case for those who don't know. NPU is an abbreviation for Neighborhood Planning Unit. There are, I believe, I want to say 25 across the city. This was a system implemented by Maynard Jackson back in the 70s originally, and it basically gives Atlanta residents an ability to have input on what's happening in their neighborhoods. So what gets discussed there, they don't necessarily have a say in what the final product, but they get to voice the community concerns, and that allows a development to say that they have the support of folks in that community. So it is very important for people to attend. So next person is Mr. Collier, same question. In which of District 11's MPUs do you reside, and when did you last attend your neighborhood's MPU meeting?
Okay, I think that's a quick answer. That's MPUS, and it was September the 18th. That was the last one I looked through my notes.
I love it concise. I love it. All right, Mr. Stephen Dingle, in which of District 11's MPUs do you reside, and when did you last attend your neighborhood MPU meeting?
I currently reside in the smallest MPU in District 11, that's MPUQ. I attended the one last week, and I've attended all 5 MPUs that make up District 11 this year, at least once. So MPUQ and last week.
All right. Ms. Beelan, Ingram, same question.
I'm in MPUR with Rita Harden as our chairperson, and I was there October the 1st online.
All right, Mr. Nate Jester.
I'm in Neighborhood Planning Unit P, and I went to the September meeting.
And last but not least, Mr. Wayne Martin.
I live in MPUQ, which is against Mayor Jackson's wishes. When he founded the MPU system, he never wanted there to be an MPUQ because he was an alpha. And so after he passed away and that part of the city was annexed in, MPUQ was formed, much to Mayor Jackson's chagrin. I've not attended a meeting this year. I was very engaged when my wife was on our neighborhood association board, but this year has yeared. So I have not attended, but I'm very familiar with the system. I actually cut my teeth as a civic engagement coordinator for a city council member right out of Morehouse, and he was citywide. So I used to attend all of the MPU meetings on a monthly basis. But the MPU system was born out of the fact that black citizens had not had a voice in the city of Atlanta. And Mayor Jackson, who mentored me before he passed away, brought that system to bear to give black citizens specifically the opportunity to weigh in on voices, on matters of importance in the city. So it's a great system, and I'm glad it's still in existence.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about transportation and mobility. The Campbellton Road Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT line, was mentioned as a priority. Where do you stand on moving that project forward? I'm going to jump around a little bit so we don't have to stick to the alphabetical order. I'm going to start with random. Let's see here. I'm going to start with Ms. Beelan Ingram. Where do you stand on moving BRT line forward, and how would you accelerate its implementation?
It's vitally important for it to be pushed forward. It is 83 and 71 are the most frequently used and the busiest bus routes, and so it's vitally important to move forward Campbellton Road BRT so that there are more opportunities for people to be able to be moved through the city. People can't get to work if they can't get to work. And so it's a value statement, right, in terms of how we ensure that people who do not drive get where they need to be. And so how do we value people? And so for me, it means that we are prioritizing District 11. We're prioritizing the people. We build a better relationship with the people of MARTA so that they do the work that they've been called to do, that they promised they would do, and they would do it on time, that we would increase the responsibility that they have to say what is, when. They would do a data analysis and tell us how they're going to do the work and when they're going to do the work, and we hold them accountable until they get it done so that we can push us forward.
I should tee this up a little bit for you guys too. So just in case you guys aren't aware, Atlanta is a city, first and foremost, that has had a lot of issues with gentrification. I'm sure you guys have heard about that. And also with transit, as the city becomes more expensive, it's more important to have ability for folks who don't have cars. Black folks are less likely to have a car in the city. And we all know that there's issues with like sidewalk equity and things like that. So these issues of mass transit are extremely important, particularly to black folks on the southwest side. So that's why we're talking about it. That being said, we're going to go to who did I not get yet? Mr. Collier, did you go? Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to go Mr. Collier. So the question, to reiterate, was where do you stand on moving the BRT line project forward, and how would you accelerate its implementation?
All right, so the BRT on Campbellton Road, first and foremost, it's a half measure. We were first kind of promised that we would have light rail. Now, we live in a city. A city should not rely on car transportation. It should rely on public transportation. And we need much, much more investment in MARTA as a whole across the city, especially in Southwest Atlanta, where that Campbellton Road BRT, bus route 83, is one of the busiest transportation routes in the city. The project is slated to be completed by the year 2030. We're already about to hit 2026, and nothing has been started on that. We need a dashboard of where the money is being spent in the city, which districts. Is it going to Buckhead, which it usually does, or is it coming to where it belongs in Southwest Atlanta, because we are historically underfunded?
Excellent. I should not have done this jumping around, because now I can't keep track of who talked and who didn't. Mr. Dingle, same question. Where do you stand on moving the BRT line project forward, and how would you accelerate its implementation?
I don't know if it matters now, but I'm an advocate, or was an advocate, for LRT, light rail transit, at first, but if it's BRT, it's BRT. So of course I support it. As I told you before, that I actually rode that bus route. I would have to leave about 2 hours and 30 minutes before my shift started at the hotel in Midtown from Greenbrier Mall to get to work. So I know firsthand just how long those bus routes are, so I fully support exacerbating those times. So I advocate for it, and Kurt had it right. We've been talking about this project since 2016, if not sooner, and there hasn't been a shovel in the ground yet. So of course, if I'm elected to city council, it's just about getting it done. There's no excuse why we haven't started this project yet, and it's just simply about moving it forward to service the people of District 11 and making sure there's an equitable relationship with the people to make sure everyone gets to school, work, etc., on time in a timely fashion.
Thank you. And Mr. Jester, did you go yet? I don't think you did. Okay. Same question to you. We're talking about the BRT line. Where do you stand on moving that project forward, and how would you accelerate its implementation?
Understood. So I grew up taking the 83. I took the 183 from Barge Road Park and Ride. If I'm not mistaken, it was called a 166 back when I was a kid from Barge Road that would go down Campbell to the county line. But I know how important it is that you are trying to go. As a native of this community, as a resident of this community, we deserve a city that delivers on its promises. And we were promised I won't say we were promised light rail, but we were promised a faster route coming down Campbellton Road on what is one of the busiest routes in the city of Atlanta. If you live in the city of Atlanta, if you have shopped in the city of Atlanta, since 2016, you have been paying for improvements to MARTA. You have been paying for the More MARTA program, and very few, if any, of these projects have been started or even delivered. This is a problem in my eyes. We deserve to know how our money is being spent, and we deserve to know why projects are being delayed. My focus will be on transparency and accountability. I will deliver on this by 1, having regular town halls, 2, having office hours where any citizen can schedule time to come and talk to me about whatever projects you want to talk about, even if that's MARTA, DOT, whatever it is that's going on in the community. And then 3rd, having a public dashboard so that you can see in real time what is going on with the projects, how money is being spent, if there are any delays, and you can ask those questions at the next town hall or office hours. This is what I'm talking about is outside of MARTA's regularly scheduled community meeting programming, which they do have for the BRT. As your city council person, I view it as my responsibility to also be your representative and tell you about what's happening for every one of these projects. We deserve to know how our money is getting spent.
All right. I remind everybody we're trying to keep it to under a minute. I try not to interrupt people when they're talking. But Mr. Martin, same question to you.
So Atlanta is built on a legacy of transportation. The city that we are today is because of the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. As goes transportation, so goes development. It is critical to the revitalization of Campbellton Road that we get that BRT project completed. I plan to, on day one, request an assessment and meeting with MARTA through the Transportation Committee at the City of Atlanta City Council to determine where we are and exactly when that project will be, implementation will begin to take place. We, from 2016 to today, you know, we can say that COVID has caused some disruptions, but we're talking about almost 10 years. And it is long overdue for that project to get not just from the planning process to the implementation and execution phase. I'm actually glad that we're talking about BRT, not simply because it's better than light rail, but it's faster and we can get it done. We've waited long enough. I want to see it be implemented. It's important. It will create the halo effect that we need to revitalize Campbellton Road. I want to see it happen ASAP on day one. Thank you.
I'm going to go back to the alphabetical order thing so I can keep track. I'm sorry. Mr. Bergen. Thank you.
Yes. All right. At Meta, we operate on a couple of principles. One, we move fast. Two, we prioritize ruthlessly. And three, we do it socially, right? That's the principles. That's how we move fast in technology, especially when we're talking about projects. I am a part of the Adams Park Residents Association that gets invited to these MARTA meetings, and along the south border of our neighborhood is Campbellton Road. So, very familiar with this. I believe we're in the design stage, and one of the things I want to do and emphasize is oversight, oversight, oversight. We do that with a framework, a RACI framework. It's RACI. It's making sure from milestone to milestone we know who's responsible, who's accountable, who should be consulted, and who should be informed. The neighborhood should always be informed when things happen, because we're talking about complex projects. That consulted person helps figure out the problems, the bottlenecks. Let's move through that. Let's make sure that we actually get the project moving forward. Everybody's informed of what the project delays are or what could be done to actually kind of move it faster. So again, kind of applying those tech principles to project management in city government. That's my plan.
Thank you very much. Our next question is about public safety and community well-being. We all, during the pandemic, there was a surge in crime across the country. In most categories, that has gone way down since the height of the pandemic. So a lot of Atlanta residents are very concerned about safe streets, and they want to be able to walk and feel safe in their own communities. There are others who are concerned about protecting civil rights. Folks like Rayshard Brooks, Deacon Johnny Holloman, and others who have been the victims of police brutality. So that's competing issues here. The question is, and we're going to start with Mr. Bergen. I want to welcome Mr. Harold Hartnett. So we're going to start with Mr. Andrew Bergen. The question is, what role should community policing, neighborhood associations, and local residents play in shaping public safety policies in District 11?
Okay. No, this is good. We got like 3, 4 great examples. The mayor of Baltimore, the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Birmingham, and even Andre here in Atlanta. We know public safety, one component is policing, but we know there's other things that make sure that people are safe. That means getting kids active, getting them off the streets, right? That means making sure that we remove blight. That means making sure that we have services for those who would resort to a life of crime and preventing that, right? So it's a proactive approach before we get to the reactive approach with policing. So just making sure we have the right police force now, because we have to be reactive because there is crime now. But being proactive, saying long-term, how do we look at crime prevention, making sure the youth is taken care of, making sure those people on the edges of society don't drop down further and move towards a life of crime. So just kind of taking the models that are already out there and applying them even more to District 11.
Thank you, Mr. Bergen. Mr. Collier, same question. What role should community policing, neighborhood association, and residents play in shaping public safety policies in District 11?
So our voices need to be heard when it comes to policing ourselves. Now, for too long, black people as a whole in this country have been stigmatized with crime. It's almost associated with black faces with crime, criminality. That is not something of our doing. That's something that has been systematically pushed on us from the very top, from federal level through the war on crime to the war on drugs, where we're specifically targeted. We have to invest in our youth. That is when most people get locked up for a felony, and that is something that stays on your record for life. The ability to vote, the ability to get public housing or food stamps or anything that can take you out of that hole is placed upon us. We have to protect our children first and foremost by providing opportunities and supervision.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, Mr. Collier. Mr. Dingle, same question to you.
Yeah, this is a complex issue to discuss in 1 minute, but public safety, everybody knows about the training center. One thing that I know, we talked to Major Clay, who's from Southwest Atlanta, so we're fortunate enough to have a Zone 4 major that's actually from our community and cares. And when it comes to my MPUQ, we're fortunate enough to be one of the safest MPUs in the entire city. Every month he comes by with nothing to really say, but that's not the tale for the entire District 11, Camden Road, Greenbrier area, et cetera. So first, we have to get enough officers. Major Clay can't even serve the people who have a crime happen to them and get there in a timely manner because we simply don't have enough. When it comes to crime prevention, that's just going to take an investment from the community. That's going to take all of us when it comes to educating our children and your elected officials to make sure that we have the resources to keep everyone busy, prosperous jobs, making sure there's universal places for children to go. We can talk about building all the institutions and establishments for children, but we know it's hard to get them there. So if we make it accessible, affordable, or even universally free, that'll allow parents to take a burden off of their load and send their children somewhere to where we know they don't have to worry about the burden of a fee. That's all I have for now. That's the time. But this is one of my platforms, so I'm really passionate about public safety. It's hard to serve a community you can't keep safe.
Mr. Harold Hardnett, same question to you. We're talking about public safety and community well-being. The question is, what role should community policing, neighborhood associations, and local residents play in shaping public safety policies in District 11? Sure.
Hi, I'm Harold Hartnett. I'm sorry I'm running a little tardy, but I was the only candidate invited to another forum that was that was done before that I were committed to for here. That's the reason why I was running a little late. I'm founder of the Greenbrier CID, which is a community improvement district that's going to improve the Greenbrier Mall area. I'm the president of the Cascade Business Association. I work with the businesses completely, wholeheartedly during the time when the streets were closed. I worked with the businesses, met with the mayor, and the streets got back open. I want to feel like I had something to do with that, not 100%. I'm the founder of the Cascade Campbellton Senior Task Force, where I'm an advocate for seniors, where we work with different seniors, helping with the gas bill, light bill, or any scams that they've been going through, because a lot of people like to take advantage of seniors during the time when they're older. And I'm also founder of the Cascade Southwest Atlanta Youth Initiative, where we deal with youth, and I have a foundation, Harold M. Hartnett Foundation, where I give scholarships to inner city students, and I'm doing all of that. And like I said, the Campbellton Road CID is a major project. It's the busiest project that's over here in this community now, and I'm the only one working on it because it's my project. What was the question again?
The question was, what role should community policing, neighborhood associations, and local residents play in shaping public safety policies in District 11?
Well, I think neighborhood associations are very important in all communities. I mean, I don't feel like we should only just wait for the police to police our communities. We have neighborhood watch, we have community watch, and when I was growing up, we had somebody that was like security on our streets that helped us out with everything. I think all policies are important to come through neighborhood watches because everybody has to put their own neighborhood for what they may need for their community. Some communities may have stragglers around. Other communities may have code enforcement issues. So I feel like it depends on what your issue is in your community, and you should make policies for that and then get that to the police department. Police can't be everywhere. I mean, right now, Atlanta Police Department is short-staffed. So, I mean, sometimes you may call a police officer, and it may take 30 to 45 minutes to an hour. But if you have a neighborhood watch, and if people know where you're watching, looking out, that may help with less crime that happens in the community, and it may help the community grow even more and be safer. And that being safer, that means that brings more people to the community and make the community better.
Thank you very much. Want to try to keep it under a minute, but everybody's doing a pretty good job. So, Ms. Beelin Ingram, same question to you. What role should community policing, neighborhood associations, and local residents play in shaping public safety policies in District 11?
So public safety policies come best by trust and relationship and community, right? And so if we trust people, then we're more likely to listen to people. When we're in relationship with people, then we're able to build trust and build community. Part of our dilemma is that we've not paid attention to what really matters in people's lives. People are in trouble because they're either greedy, and so they're doing what they should not be doing, or they lack, and they do what they should not be doing. And so if community was coming together, if neighbors were working together, then people would have the opportunity to see one another, to value each other, and to help each other out. And so what I propose is that we work with our neighborhood planning units and work with our neighborhood associations to really be what community should be, that police officers know the residents, that they're working with the residents, and they're coming together to ensure that people have what they need, that they're resourcing each other and encouraging each other and making sure that people are safe, make sure that people know one another, and that they are protecting each other. Thank you.
Mr. Nate Jester, same question to you.
Everyone deserves to feel safe and to be safe in every neighborhood and every block in the city of Atlanta. I grew up on Campbellton Road during the war on drugs. I mean, I personally lost friends to gun violence. I know people who have gone to prison. This is an important issue to me. And what the research, what the data shows, is that when we give families, young people, the resources that they need, they will be successful. I mean, for me, I spent every summer fully engaged. I played sports, I had a summer job, I was always involved in some type of extracurricular activity, and I want the same thing for our young people in this city, but we have to make sure that we are giving them the type of programs that will allow them to be fully engaged. The second point I will make, I'm about to run out of time. Second point I will make is that we got to make sure people have pathways to good jobs. The federal government is cutting some things like Job Corps that provide pathways for people to be able to make enough money to provide for themselves. The city has to step up, provide those pathways. Otherwise, we're going to lose more young people. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Jester. Mr. Wayne Martin, same question to you. What role should community policing, neighborhood associations, and local residents play in shaping public safety policies in District 11?
I think that's a great question. I can give a real-time example. I came into public service, my first job with Atlanta City Council back in 2007. I don't know if anyone in here remembers, we were in the midst of a massive crime wave at the time. There were gangs, 30 deep, the Blue Jean Bandits, all kinds of gangs in the city of Atlanta that were running rampant. One of the things that the council member I worked for, who was the son of a former APD officer, instituted was a community-oriented policing and training program. And this was some research that I had to conduct. I thought I was being hazed at first, but I conducted the research and found a program very similar in New York City where every officer that graduated from the academy was required to go on a foot beat or a bike beat for a short period of time. Number one, it allowed them to learn the communities that they were going to be policing. Number two, it also gave visibility to residents and neighbors. And we really saw a reduction in crime, and it wasn't until we began to lose officers and we saw, again, at the same time period, the city was also in a deep financial crunch. And so we've got to get back to that kind of smart policy as it relates to engaging residents in their own safety. I want to see our programs be revitalized that recruits young people out of our high schools into our public safety departments. I have friends of mine that are right now still they're high-ranking firefighters. They were recruited right out of Farrell, and they're still working in Atlanta Fire Department and policing the same. Friends of mine, they box each other in the guns and hoses matches with Atlanta Fire Department versus Atlanta Police. We've got to get back to letting folks that have a stake in our safety lead our public safety departments, and I believe we'll be a better city for it. Thank you.
Gotcha. We're going to move ahead to audience questions. So my understanding is that they were submitted earlier and reviewed. We want individuals to come up and go ahead and ask questions to the candidates of your choice, or you can ask it to everybody.
Okay, good evening. The first question, hello, here we go. What are the three most pressing issues facing Atlanta's Black community?
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Ali Tabib Najat. I am with the ACLU of Georgia. I have the pleasure of reading the questions.
So to reiterate that, what are the most pressing issues, I think you said, facing Atlanta's Black community?
What are the three most pressing
Three most
issues?
pressing. And did you want one person to, everybody? Okay.
Everybody, please.
So let's start with Mr. Martin.
I think the three most prevalent issues that Black Atlantans are facing really is income inequality, the lack of accessibility to affordable housing. I don't believe any family in this part of anywhere in the city should pay more than 30% of their income for housing. Generational wealth in the city of Atlanta, where we can really eviscerate poverty in the Black community by providing pathways to prosperity for Black families. So I think, to recap, I think it is access to affordable housing, income inequality, as well as just the lack of opportunity. I think those three major issues, if we can address them as a city, I believe that we can create a new generation of Black prosperity in this city that will benefit us for generations and years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nate Jester, same question to you. Three most pressing issues facing Atlanta's Black community.
So I am I'm the president of the Mays High School Alumni Association, the illustrious Benjamin E. Mays Alumni Association. I had a chance, it was about a year or two ago, to go and talk to some students at Mays after there had been an incident of gun violence at the school, unfortunately. And I spoke to some of the young men that were there, and they talked to me about how they didn't see a path for themselves towards success. Like they couldn't envision a successful life for themselves. And so I think one of the biggest problems facing a lot of folks in this city is a sense of hopelessness, of like, how do I make it out of this? You'll hear people talk about the lack of economic mobility in Atlanta, how high the chance is if you're born poor that you will remain poor, and that creates like an emotional burden, which I think is something that we don't talk about a lot in politics. We're going to address, my focus is going to be on addressing this through, one, helping bolster our education system in every way that I can as a city council person. The school system has them from 7:30 until 3:30 p.m. What can we do from 3:30 p.m. until 7:30 a.m. as a city to give families and children the tools that they need to be successful? The second thing I will talk about is pathways to good job. Not everyone will go to college, but a career, home ownership can be for everyone. That to me, that looks like more programming, vocational programs to get people into good jobs if college is not the right path for them.
All right, a little over time, but thank you very much. Next is Ms. Belin Ingram. Question is, three most pressing issues facing Black Atlanta residents.
I think today the most pressing issues facing Black residents in Atlanta are reduction of SNAP benefits. People are hungry. The amount of unhoused people that are on our streets every single day, and it's growing. The eviction rates, and the fact that people can be put out of their homes at ridiculous in a ridiculous amount of time. And I think also it is that that our responsibility is to empower people so that people know what their rights are, know what their opportunities are. The fact that it is difficult for black folks to be able to start a business and keep that business going because they don't have the same opportunities. You think about the numbers of gas stations that are open on the roads, but then you can't get a business for a bookstore, a coffee shop, or a wine store. And so it is the inability for people to be able to open a business, the reduction in people being able to eat and take care of their households, and being able to be put out of their homes at a moment's notice.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harold Hardnett, same question to you. 3 most pressing issues facing Atlanta's black community.
3 of the most pressing issues that I feel are homelessness, income insecurities, and education. And the first 2 fall from the third one, education. If we educate ourselves and get our education level up, that gives us more opportunity as far as career-wise or job-wise or things of that nature. In income equality, Atlanta has the largest income gap of any major city, especially for black America in this country. There are more, 4%, you have a 4% chance of getting out of poverty in Atlanta if you're born into poverty. You only have a 4% chance of getting out. There are so many homeless now going up because rent's going up, everything's going up, cost of living going up, everything but salary. And when income isn't going up, then you have to educate yourself even more. I'm on the GO team for Kimberly Elementary School. And one thing that I brought up in the meetings that I'm going to push for, and I've already talked to Tolan Pace, who's our APS representative, is vocational education. And that's one thing that Councilmember E.J. Collins kind of put into place before she definitely became city council. If you educate yourself, you don't necessarily have to have a college degree. You can have vocational education. There are a lot of people that have HVAC, electrical, plumbing guys that have 6-figure incomes. And they did that without a college degree. So you don't necessarily need a college degree to make money. Education isn't always college education. It's technical school as well. It's different things that you can do to educate yourself, to uplift yourself, to make more money, to keep you from homelessness, and to make things better for us as black people.
All right, thank you. I know it's hard, guys. Keep it under a minute, but we trying to be fair to everybody. The next person is Mr. Stephen Dingle. We're talking about 3 most pressing issues facing Atlanta's black community.
Yeah, opportunity. And opportunity encompasses the income equality, affordability, affordable living, et cetera. Atlanta has always been an equitable city. We're the first city in the country that had federally funded housing projects. So affordability has been in Atlanta's DNA since the very beginning. Secondly, is public safety. Again, it's hard to serve a community that you can't keep safe. We should be a community, especially somewhere in the South, where it's in our culture, it's in our DNA that our children should be able to go outside and play without a worry in the world. Our neighbors should be able to look after each other without a worry in the world. That's it. If you're not safe, it's hard to serve. And then lastly, I would say education. We can't have these amazing institutions that a lot of us attended from the AUC, Morris Brown, Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, Spelman, ITC, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, except whoever I'm leaving out. We can't have these institutions and not have our children be the best students in the country to attend those institutions. So for me, educating and equipping our children with all the resources and tools they need to become the best people in the entire country, not just in the South, that's another priority for Black Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kirk Collier, same question to you.
All right, so housing affordability, everyone's mentioned that. But when we look at housing affordability, something that we haven't mentioned yet is that to qualify for some of these programs, there's something called the AMI, the average median income. When we're looking at it for Atlanta, we're including places like Dunwoody and Sandy Springs factored into Atlanta, which offsets it by a lot. The average median income for the folks that live right here in Southwest Atlanta is $52,000. The average income, household income is $52,000. That cuts a whole slew of people out of even the opportunity to afford housing. Income inequality, it stems to felonies. As I've knocked on doors, and I've knocked in the apartments, I've knocked in some of the residential streets, There are a huge amount of folks that have felonies. I think we tend to forget that we went through a program, a system of mass incarceration that disproportionately affects us right here. Now, most of the people sitting in this room are part of what we like to call the talented 10th. We're college educated. We skip past a lot of those obstacles, but the vast majority of the black folks that live here aren't. Over-policing, the tactics that are used in our communities is the biggest threat. It is the biggest threat. And we have to change the policies on the city level first to protect our youth, our children. A lot of you guys have had the conversation about what to do when the police pull you over or your children. That is a real situation that we have to examine, and we have to set policies in place to protect our children. I know I went way over time, but that's the truth of it.
All right, I got to get a penalty flag and delay a game. Mr. Andrew Bergen, same question. We're talking about three biggest issues facing black Atlanta residents.
Yep. It is more difficult for black people to thrive in the black Mecca. It's crazy. One, displacement. If you're black and you own a house, rising taxes threaten to push you out. If you're renting and you want to plant roots in Atlanta, that's almost impossible because of the rising prices of housing. So displacement is the first issue. Second issue, economic development. Atlanta should be a place for black businesses to thrive. It's harder for economic development to happen in this city for black businesses. We got to solve for that. Last part, jobs of the future. Making sure that we are training our youth and young people, myself, for the jobs of the future. For the longest, we said, if you can't get a job, go to a warehouse or at least go to fast food. Well, fast food is getting automated. Amazon warehouse is getting automated. How do we train people for the jobs of the future? So in order to thrive in Atlanta, we need to be here. Don't get displaced. Economic development, own a business, thrive. And then lastly, kids need to have a job that they can have for the future so that they are able to be a future Atlantan.
Thank you. We have time for one more audience question. We're going to move forward? Okay. We're going to move ahead to... Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yes, we have some more questions, but in the interest of time, I would love to just ask the candidate seated on the left this question. Atlanta is grappling with rapid development and gentrification. Atlanta is grappling with rapid development and gentrification. What tools would you support to make sure District 11 residents, seniors, are not priced or taxed out of their neighborhoods?
Excellent question. So we're gonna, let's see, who went last? You went last. We'll let you go first. Go ahead.
Okay. What was the question?
Atlanta is grappling with rapid development and gentrification. What tools would you support to make sure District 11 residents, seniors, are not priced or taxed out of their neighborhoods?
Okay.
Mr. Andrew Bergen, go ahead.
Okay. A couple of things. First one, of course, taxes are a thing. So tax abatements is the first tool. Keep people in their houses, keep things manageable. Second part is just making sure that we add teeth to code enforcement. A lot of times we look at code enforcement, it also penalizes residents, not businesses. So we need to make sure that code enforcement starts to look at bad landlords who are renting to people of all ages, especially seniors, but also young people, and say, hey, you just can't do what you want to do and just pay the fine and move on. So we need more teeth there. So tax abatements, more teeth in code enforcement, especially focused on developers. And then kind of getting harder on what incentives we actually give to developers. Again, a lot of gentrification comes from spikes in, development, but we give them a lot of incentives. So just pulling back those incentives, just saying, hey, what is in for the community? So make sure community benefits agreements are actually benefiting people, especially seniors who have been here before the development happened. That's how we kind of make sure that people can stay in place and developers aren't getting the benefits with no contribution.
Mr. Stephen Dingle, same question to you. What would you do to basically help battle gentrification in Atlanta?
There's actually something that Senator Jason Estevez, which is personally my senator, but he's also a gubernatorial candidate, that he proposed around, if I'm not mistaken, it's Act 135 or 138, was around lowering seniors' taxes. So the mayor supported it. I would support legislation like that, but I also would help, like Andre said, adjusting the codes that we currently have around that same kind of legislation. So creating legislation that assists seniors with tax allocations. And I know there are specific things we can do, and I say this all the time. I know school board doesn't want to hear it. A lot of our seniors and legacy residents have raised their children already. So they don't necessarily want to pay those taxes that goes to the school because they've been there, done that. But I know there's programs with establishments like Invest Atlanta that can subsidize those taxes so our kids can still get their tax dollars. Having the AMI for senior living, so people who don't own homes but maybe want to live in the senior living, just making sure that AMI, whatever it is, if it's 30% or 20%, that stays for whatever amount of times we can create legislation for. So if we say, hey, the senior homes are at a 25% AMI, then of course prices may fluctuate, but at least we know it will be capped at a certain percentage for a certain amount of time that the legislation can last for.
All right, Mr. Hardnett, we're talking about keeping seniors in their homes and battling gentrification. What would you do?
Well, I'm a big advocate for seniors. That's why when I founded the Cascade Cabinet Senior Task Force, one thing I did is I help out seniors with any of the problems that they have. One thing that I will do for gentrification is I feel that seniors' taxes should be capped. I mean, if they've lived in our community 30, 40 years, they're legacy residences, they don't need to keep paying the taxes of somebody that's 25, 27 years old. They've paid that. They paid off their house. They paid their dues. Another thing, too, is if they don't have kids in school anymore, which they don't, because my son is grown and he's out of school, they shouldn't have to pay school taxes anymore because you don't have a child in school. That's another thing that I feel that could be done. Also, a lot of seniors have different things that are dealing that will fail on code enforcement and different things of that nature to their property. I feel that they should be given stipends or grants to help rebuild their properties and bring it up to standards. And if that happens, then it saves on the energy bill, saves on the gas bill, saves on the light bill, or different things that they have fixed up in their properties. And I think that all legacy residences should be allowed to not have to pay full amount of taxes as everybody else that's just starting out in life.
Thank you. Ms. Beelin Ingram, same question. We're talking about battling gentrification, keeping seniors in their homes. What would you do to help them?
Yeah, I wrote it so that I would not go over my minute. So I believe that we deserve to age in place with dignity, right? To keep people in their homes, we must expand property tax relief programs, home repair grants, and utility assistance so rising costs do not push seniors out of their home. The city can also partner with nonprofits and trade schools to provide free home maintenance support and weatherization services. And I'd also advocate for zoning that allows accessory dwelling units and multi-generational living options so families can care for elders close by so that people can stay in their homes. And so I trust and believe that when we invest in stability and support for seniors, we protect our legacy residents and we preserve the history and the heart of District 11, which ensures that we empower, grow, and protect one another. Thank you.
We got time for one more question for the folks to my left.
All right. What programs or plans do you have to address mental health in the community if elected?
Excellent. So we're going to start with Mr. Martin. Yes.
I think that we as a community have to come together to really address the mental health issues. Post-COVID, we've seen an influx and rise in those concerns and issues, and it affects us all on a daily basis. And I think that it's incumbent upon us to pull together the best of our communities. Atlanta is a medical healthcare academic town. We've got Emory University, Morehouse School of Medicine are here. I believe that we have an abundance of resources that we can bring to bear. We can use our pastoral counseling centers at churches like this to really, really enhance the community care that we provide to those that live in our communities. I think also that conflict resolution in our schools, very, very important. Someone made reference earlier to many cities that have reduced violent crime in their communities. And one of the ways they're doing that, I talked to my friend Randall Wolfen over the weekend at Homecoming as the mayor of Birmingham, is they put conflict resolution in our schools. And we need to do that and implement that. And they're already seeing tremendous impacts with that, teaching people how to hash out conflict one step at a time. It's making a difference in our communities we can use in Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nate Jester.
Could you ask the question one more time?
What programs or plans do you have to address mental health in the community, if elected?
Got it. So I serve on the board of a nonprofit called Black Health, and it is all about racial health equity, and it's given me the opportunity to learn a lot about how we can better serve our people. One of the programs that I really believe in, and I would want to be fully funded and have an even longer contract with the city of Atlanta, is called PAD. It's Policing Alternatives and Diversion, and it responds to mental health emergencies that people are having. Listen, mental health is a safety matter, but it often isn't a law enforcement matter. And what I want is medical health professionals to be able to respond to people who are having mental health emergencies in this city and get them the care that they need without as much risk. The second thing that I'll talk about with mental health is I believe that there is a place for more mental health care in our school system. We got young people that are dealing with a lot. We got families that are dealing with a lot. And it's hard to learn and receive curriculum when you're dealing with so much. We can provide better care and provide better educational outcomes, and we can thrive a lot more as a city.
Thank you. Mr. Kirk Collier, same question. Talking about programs for mental health.
One of the first ones would be PAD, the Police Alternatives and Diversion Program. Folks that are on the street, they're exhibiting strange behaviors. That is not a reason to put them in the criminal and justice system. So we need to divert them away from that and into a system that provides wraparound care for them. They do more than just, sweep them off the streets, but they look into issues of extreme poverty. They look into their mental state and provide those services. That particular program has been defunded over the years. We need to reverse that, put more funding into programs that seek to look after the well-being of our community and not police us to extinction. But yes, that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collier. So we're going to close this out with some closing statements from our panelists. We can start with Mr. Bergen just had to step away, so we're going to go to Mr. Collier. Closing statements. 30, oh yeah, we're keeping it to 30 seconds.
30 seconds, go. All right.
Please do the best. Y'all see that big clock up there, so I know y'all see it.
Where's the clock? Okay.
I ain't got my penalty flag, but we're going to keep it at 30 seconds.
All right, to close things out, my biggest concern for Southwest Atlanta is the extreme pressure. There are eyes on the land that we sit on now. I'm going to have to talk about that now. My name is Kirk Collier. I'm seeking to protect the land that we have here. The people that we have here are most important. My name is Kirk Collier. 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. If y'all want to complain about the 30-second time limit, y'all talk to Sarah. I'm just joking. All right, Mr. Bergen, we're doing closing statements. You got 30 seconds.
Okay, sorry. I'm on the board of Friends of Fam. I run the mentoring committee. We got October check-ins, and they're excited to see me. Sorry. No, Atlanta has a major problem. We are ranked last in terms of economic mobility. That means a kid like me in Southwest Atlanta has a 4% chance to live in a better life than their parents. That is a huge problem. One of the things I want to make sure that we do is prioritize things that address the issue of keeping people from reaching their potential. I know from fact that the community has wrapped their arms around me And because of that, I've been able to achieve a lot of things. With a solid foundation, kids can do great things. We focus on housing, we focus on economic opportunity, we focus on jobs of the future. That's how we make sure that Atlanta continues to be the great place that we know for future generations.
All right, got to cut it down. I'm doing our best, guys.
AndreBergen.com.
All right. Mr. Stephen Dingle, trying to keep it to 30 seconds.
Once again, my name is Stephen Dingle, a candidate for Atlanta City Council District 11, and my overall goal is to return District 11, Southwest Atlanta back to prominence, back to equitable jobs, prosperous jobs, opportunity, educating our children, safe streets, and equitable transportation. That is it. Southwest Atlanta, as Southwest Atlanta goes, the rest of the city goes. So if you're looking for someone who's going to fight for you every day, who's going to ask the questions, how does this benefit the constituents of District 11? And if they have counterproductive things about District 11, why we don't have BRT, why we don't have certain education measures, I'm going to ask them why not, and we deserve answers so we can solve our own problems. Once again, my name is Stephen Dingle. I look forward to earning your vote all the way to October 31st or Election Day, November 4th, and I really appreciate everyone for having us.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harold Hardnett, closing statement.
Harold Hardnett, I don't have 30 seconds. You can reach me on my social media. My website is haroldhardnett.com. Harold Hardnett for Facebook. My Instagram is Hardnett for the SWATs. I'm 5 generations Atlanta. My parents, grandparents, all graduated from Washington High School. I graduated from Douglas, Marsh Brown College. Remember Kappa Alpha Psi, do a lot of mentoring with them. 100 Black Men, like my own foundation as well. All Atlanta. Please vote. If you vote for me, you have a hard worker that has boots on the ground. Been putting in years, over 20 years, with my NPU system and other categories that I have in District 11. And I am District 11. And I want Greenbrier Mall to get back to where it was when I was growing up, where we had Ponderosa, 2-car dealerships, Red Lobster, and everything. And Friday night was a strip on Campbellton Road, and that's what I want to bring back and keep our money in our community.
Thank you very much. Ms. Tony Beelan Ingram.
Again, Tony Beelan Ingram for District 11. I am a presiding elder in the AME Church. I don't come here for power or prestige. I come here for purpose. That purpose is that District 11 would thrive, that the people in District 11 would thrive, that you would and we would age in place, that our children would have opportunities and programming. I'm not trying to get another position or a stepping stone. I am where I am because I desire to ensure that we would grow and thrive, that we would empower one another, that we would grow businesses, and we would protect our community. Thank you. Tony Beelan Ingram for District 11.
Thank you, Ms. Ingram. Mr. Nate Jester.
For me, this campaign is about respect. Respect for people like my parents who have lived here for over 50 years, still stay in Ben Hill. Respect for the young people, working families who just want a chance to make it. I have been preparing for this work my entire life. As a native of Ben Hill, as a Marine Corps veteran, as an attorney who partners with churches and nonprofits to build affordable homes and opportunity, I'm ready to be the bridge builder that we need to create an Atlanta where every generation can stay, grow, and thrive. I'm Nate Jester, and you can find out more at votenatejester.com.
All right. Last but not least, Mr. Wayne Martin.
Thank you so much to the hosting organizations tonight. I will end this how we started it. I am proof of what's possible in this city. My family went from adversity to opportunity. I am ready on day one to do that work for other families in this district. I'm running for the preservation of historic Cascade, the revitalization of Campbellton Road, and the stabilization of Camp Creek. My story gives me compassion, but my experience gives me the capability and the competency. I hope that you'll put your trust in me and vote for me, Wayne Martin, for Atlanta City Council District 11. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all very much. I hope you guys got some good information today. We're going to turn it over now to our organizers for calls to action and closing remarks. And thank you all for having me here as well.
All right, give a round of applause to our candidates and moderator. Thank you all so much. That last 30-second exercise was a challenge to see, you know, everybody's supposed to have an elevator pitch. We want to see what your candidate elevator pitch was. So great job to you all. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight and hearing and being a part of this wonderful discussion. We'd like to thank Cascade UMC again for hosting us, all of our partner organizations who showed up in great numbers to be a part of this discussion. As it has been said many times this evening, voting is now live. Early voting started on October 14th, so if you have not already, get out to the polls, exercise your right to vote. Election day is November 4th. If you can't get to your polling location while early voting is going on. If you all have any questions about voting in Atlanta, about your process for voting, whether you need help with voter registration, finding a polling location, whatever that may be, please do not hesitate to contact either ACLU of Georgia or any of the partner organizations here today. We're all more than happy to help you all navigate that process. Voting is our power, and as the conversation went today, District 11 is one of the key areas in Atlanta, and what happens here has a lot to do with what happens in the rest of the city. So if you haven't already, please go out and vote. We thank you again for your time this evening. If you didn't get some food beforehand, there is food downstairs. Please go help yourself. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. So, thank you so much. Yes, of course. So we're gonna do group photos with you all individually, and then we're gonna have the partners come up and take photos with you, and then